Have you ever bought a game and it turned out to be far removed from what you thought it was going to be? Today we're going to look at the cold side of media advertising in the video game industry and ask the hard question: should game trailers be allowed to be misleading? Many trailers over the years, displayed at prominent gaming conventions such as E3, have misrepresented the final products of their games. Gamers have paid for it on some occasions, being delivered either subpar gaming experiences or games that simply didn't align with what the expectations of the game trailer presented to us. Is it our fault as gamers, or are game trailers being maliciously created in hopes of contorting the expectations of wayward consumers? And who is accountable for consumer expectations based off digital media and gameplay trailers? I've got 3 trailers that will accompany the 3 questions I want us to answer as a community. Our first question is this: do developers have a corporate and social responsibility to report development changes from pre-existing gameplay trailers? Ladies and gents, I present to you the infamous debacle of Aliens Colonial Marines. A lot was misleading about this trailer, from the absolutely gorgeous visual fidelity, equipped with amazing weather effects, eerie and chilling fog and lighting, to the nerve-ending immersion provided by that chase-style alien-human gameplay. The game really looks immersive and true to the authenticity of Ridley Scott's film trilogy. In reality, the game was nothing like this. Aliens Colonial Marines launched with a total revamp of the gameplay, a complete downgrade to the visual fidelity, including the dynamic lighting, the fog, and any environmental vista pre-mapping, and missing features such as an alien swarm turret section that was shown in the actual trailer. If you picked up the game after watching the trailer, you might have thought you bought the wrong game. The problem with this scenario is that Gearbox failed to address any of these changes, and that's where the issue of ethics comes in. Should they be required to? Some may say this is a perfectly valid request on behalf of the gaming culture. If you make changes to your game and you cut, add, or modify features or gameplay that you have previously shown, you need to provide future clarity in the form of either a revamped trailer or, at the minimum, at least some corporate communication reported to the gaming press. I say abso-fucking-lutely, with communication as the bare bones minimum. Companies should be held to some accountability standards, for Christ's sake. The least they could do is update us with what they change. Did you know most AAA companies spend millions and millions of dollars on advertising and PR every year? The biggest part of PR is called communication, and it costs next to nothing outside of employee compensation. If you want to give us an updated trailer, that's a bonus. A cherry on the top of the sundae, but yes, developers should be required as per industry standard to report on changes from pre-released digital trailers. And here's our second question: does omitting a feature make a trailer unjust? Let's take a look at the original Assassin's Creed. Some of you may be scratching your head. Assassin's Creed was pretty well received, right? Well, it was by most people. A lot of other people have blamed the trailer for completely misrepresenting the core gameplay experience. A historical tale of deception, murder, and authenticity. That's what the trailer shows anyway. Those hoping for a thoroughly authentic, history-fueled adventure were quite rightfully surprised when Assassin's Creed opened up its game by diving first into science fiction? Wait, what? The game was based off of this science fiction and living out the lives of historical beings, not history itself. By hiding the futuristic aesthetic of the game, Ubisoft managed to pull the old bait and switch to surprise players and keep them on your toes. Is that good, or is that bad? This is a tricky one. Omission does not mean something isn't there, it just means you can't see it. It's good to be surprised in games, yes, this is true, but the entire game revolves around this science fiction, weird futuristic proxy limbo thing, and it's a big deal to represent your game as historical fiction only for it to be released as a historical science fiction. So, should developers be responsible for omitting key gameplay features in trailers? Do gamers have the right to 100% accurate representation of what the game will be? I have to say no. Half of the fun of games is being surprised. With that said though, I do understand how some people would have had a really bad reception towards this game had they watched the trailer for this and expecting something different. This example walks a fine line and asks a bigger question. Was it possible that Ubisoft omitted the sci-fi elements of the game because they were afraid it would be less well received as a result? Did they think it would be less profitable by being completely transparent with the bones of the game? That opens up a bigger can of worms. And it leads me to my last question. Should gameplay trailers be allowed to be scripted and tailor-made? Yeah, I'm talking about most trailers here actually, trailers that companies spend weeks on and tons of cash. They carefully craft each frame of the trailer to show the game in a certain way and in the best possible light. We can point directly at our old buddy, Destiny, for this one. Remember Destiny? That little game released in 2014 that was supposed to show the world what the next generation of consoles were capable of? This amazing, sprawling, epic, borderless journey through space and interstellar planets? Just look at this trailer. I mean, come on, Bungie. This is total bullshit. This looks like a completely different game, not just in fidelity, but in the possibility of what to expect. The grand space adventure from the makers of Halo, but in reality, playing Destiny felt less like you were on a quest to save the world, but rather, you were in charge of cleanup duty. The dynamic interactions and roller coaster set pieces of the trailer were replaced with 5 variations of the same go there, kill this shit side mission inside a totally, utterly lifeless world. This is the biggest question I have for gameplay trailers in 2016. Why should a game trailer be so deceptively handcrafted to the point that the trailer actually turns into fantasy? I demand raw gameplay footage from developers and trailers. Why is that so hard to ask for? It's because developers are so paranoid of bad press that the best way to make a buck in this industry these days is to show as little as humanly possible and highlight not just the best parts of your game, but show the best possible illusion of your game. The most profitable trailers are the ones that throw out that little carrot to us and carefully craft the smallest slice and tease of a game, just like this trailer, so that gamers can't help themselves from daydreaming and fantasizing a game that isn't real. Bungie, shame on you. Sean Murray, shame on you for No Man's Sky and letting gamers across the country hallucinate this mirage of a game that you so carefully drip-fed us and lied to us over and over and over. So to this I say yes. Game trailers should be required as per industry standard to show raw, uncut gameplay footage so that we may make up our own minds as to how we want to view the game. How do you guys feel about this topic? I'm pretty pumped up right now, because it's crystal clear to me that in order to protect ourselves from game trailers, we should be speaking out about this. Do everybody a favor and do not pre-order games. Get caught up in the fantasy of these arithmetically crafted trailers and ask that our games be delivered honestly. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel because there's more goodness like this coming soon. And peace out till then.